thank you all for coming out on this beautiful day for this grand reveal. Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. All that good stuff. So we're gonna do the whole spiel, explain what's going on. Oh, we got some more people walking up. Come on in, y'all. Who's that? Is that son? Hey, son, come on in. So this project, while we're out here, is a collaboration between three groups. Getting Grown Collective, the garden site we're on, which I'll pass it to Taryn to just kind of give an introduction to that. The Love Fridge, and then Sunbend Solar. So first off, we're just gonna go ahead and give you all, for those who are unfamiliar with where we are, we're gonna give an introduction and understanding of what's going on here.
Thanks, Keyante. Hello, everybody. I'm Taryn. Hi, Adonis. Hey, Jalen. So, welcome. This is Libations to the Ancestors. It's a community garden that was started in 2020 by Getting Grown Collective, which is a family-based, block-based nonprofit. This is the block that my mother, Taryn, right here, grew up on.
All right.
Yeah. Daryl, also from the block, born and raised. And we started in 2017. There's a vacant lot at the end of the block. We started there in 2017. Shifted here in 2020, and it was at the same time that Eric, we got a shout out made in Englewood as well. Because this wouldn't happen without Eric, like being in the neighborhood, and he just like we started doing a lot of mutual aid when the pandemic began. A program called Farm Food Familias that distributes 350 meals every week, and periodically we do groceries. When we first started doing groceries, we would have the groceries dropped off at the garden, right? So there was a lot of visible, like, okay, there's food coming from here. Eric came through and was like, yo, we gotta get a Love Fridge at your site. And at that time, we weren't really sure what was going on down there. My aunt owns this lot here. She's not here right now. But we knew that we would be coming over here. And so this is where the Love Fridge first came. But yeah, we can talk more about like Getting Grown Collective and all of those things, but that's us in a nutshell. We're just really, really invested in preparing future generations for unpredictability. We have a lot going on in the world, but one thing that people need is food. And so we're really invested in us trying to learn how to grow our own food and how we get others to grow our own food, because that's how our ancestors, back to the name of this space, I want to definitely shout out a lot of ancestors that have supported us and made it so that we could be here right now. They have been doing this type of work. They hadn't gotten to the point of having solar panels, so it's really cool to like just kind of take the baton that has been passed on for a lot of people, for us to take care of ourselves and keep it going. But yeah, that's us. Thank you all for being here, for your support.
All right.
Yeah. And so transitioning into one of my favorite orgs. We got a lot of org representations all throughout around here. But one of my favorite, even before we even personally knew each other, one of my favorite organizations, Manny from the Love Fridge. Yeah.
Hello, my name's Manny. My government name's Eric Von Haynes. Friends and family call me Manny. I address this relationship and the work I do in the community as fam. So please call me Manny. I represent the Love Fridge Network today. We're a group of like-minded individuals like yourselves, just people in the community that had opportunity and the agency to help form foundations for community-centric fridges and pantries. And what comes with that, we're grounded in food sovereignty, and we believe that food is a right, not a privilege. These are our baselines. We're not politically aligned. We don't align with the government. We are literally people like yourselves to just take time. It's all volunteer. The money we raise is to create agency and to amplify those that do the work, which is why it's been beautiful to have a relationship with Getting Grown and now Sun, because the idea is to amplify the work that others were already doing and see how we can fit within that larger network. This fridge was one of the ones we set up that we had issues with, and it gave us the opportunity to do a long-term solution, which we want for all our fridges anyway, to offer true autonomy. Just like we don't ask anyone for anything to use the sites, we don't want to take anything from them. We also would like to make these systems where we don't ask anyone much, we take less to have these systems sustainable. So being able to have this system here feels beautiful because it was necessary, but it's also part of our long-term goal. And on that, I'm going to stop because I can bend your ear. We need volunteers. That's what this is. There's a lot of there's paraphernalia. There's propaganda I'm going to pass out, including paraphernalia, including a map, QR code systems, things like that. They can show you fridges that are closest to you wherever you may be, and also connect you to a system that allows you to help by volunteering if you have time. We sometimes have food made and prepared by chefs. A lot of getting grown we've done, a lot of the farm food familiar we've done by other chefs that may be locally. We can have you get that food versus having someone come across town and help foster relationships locally, hyper-locally. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming. It's a pleasure to meet you.
All right.
Can y'all over there hear me? Look at my family. They all in the shade. Look at them. Y'all can hear me over here?
Keyante.
Cool. So, yeah. Once again, thank everybody for coming. So, Sunbend Solar, a startup company working towards empowering our communities through the power of solar energy. You might be familiar with a lot of residential installations that you see that are starting to pop up throughout the city. Though we will be participating in that growing market, we also think it's very important that we can be as close to the ground as possible with this technology of solar energy to be able to really touch as many people as possible, right? I have this great belief that Taryn kind of mentioned as far as like us kind of having a self-sustainability, growing our own food. We believe in we believe in land ownership, we believe in home ownership, we believe in the ownership of our food growth process. And I also think in that ownership of just having self-sustainable tools comes our own energy production, right? We're in 2022. At one point in the human species, electricity was not needed, but at this point, electricity is very much so a fundamental necessity of our just everyday living. Everybody's phones here charged by electricity, right? During the pandemic, when we were all on Zoom, where our laptops charged with electricity. So it's just like it has become a very fundamental part of just our infrastructure. And I believe that access to electricity is something that will become more and more important as we move into the future. And so just making that as accessible as possible. And so on this very small scale, right, it looks like us powering the Love Fridge so that the 63rd and Morgan block can have access to a free meal. I benefited from this fridge about a year ago when I started. I still work, solar doesn't pay the bills full time yet, y'all, but so I'm still working a part-time job in the meantime. While I was working that job, we were passing through here. I was so hungry, didn't want to spend $10 on Chipotle at the time. Payday was like 2 days away, so it was like, it was crunch. But just passed by this fridge. I was like, oh wait, let me see if something is in here. And there was this well-prepared meal by one of the chefs from Farm Food Familias. And I was like, it saved my day. And we do from our part-time job, we do garden installations. So we're outside, we're moving soil, doing all that stuff. So I was very much so tired, sweaty, and hungry. And I was just like, wow, this like one free meal just really just like altered my way of just thinking. And so I wanted to make sure to contribute to this as much as possible. And I was like, and when the opportunity came up, when it was like, oh, there's no power for this fridge, we got in conversation because I was already have my solar certification, and it made sense to say, hey, why don't we just have it be its own self-sustaining energy source? So
Wait, I want to interrupt you for 2 seconds.
Please.
Because what Keyante is like not leaving, like not bringing into this story. Keyante and I have known each other probably since like 2018. He came to do a presentation with young people that I was working with. And then in 2020, before we started working with each other on this part-time job that he has with Grow Greater Englewood, he reached out to me and gave a whole presentation about what it was that he wanted to do with solar. This was before he had done any projects, and just was like, this is what I want to do. I want to make energy accessible. I want to install, so you know, all of this stuff. There was no Love Fridge connection. We hadn't been here yet. But I'm just saying that to say that Keyante has manifested this work. So as much as it was like, oh yeah, we're driving past, it's a refrigerator. The refrigerator we used to plug in to our neighbors here, but then we're like, you know, we're paying for the electricity, blah, blah, you know, it's just a little convoluted, right? But I just wanted to add that in because Keyante had been thinking about this as something that he wanted to do before it kind of like presented itself.
I want to interrupt you because it wasn't this house. It was the house 2 doors away.
Yes,
So we
were
had
plugging into this one.
Oh, it was this one? I thought it was Celestine.
No.
Oh, no, that's the water. Okay, I'm sorry.
Access.
Get your story straight,
That
mommy.
was the water.
You got double Taryn interrupted.
And I mean, also,
The double up.
running an extension cord out of a window of a house is not the most safe thing to do long term. So I mean, you know, just it all lined up to make sense to just have this fridge be self-sustained by its own energy source. But yeah, so with that, I guess we can ultimately present to you all the return.
The return of the love.
Can I just call out once we show that?
What?
The call to action once we show the fridge?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the grand return of the Love Fridge here in Englewood. Is this the only Englewood Love Fridge currently?
It is.
Yep, I think so.
Love fridge, yes.
Love
Yeah.
fridge.
Oh, there are a couple other fridges.
There's other community fridges.
Yeah. So the return of the only Englewood Love Fridge. Back today. We're still in an active construction site. Got a few little things going on over there, but the fridge is on and functioning, and that is the purpose. So as my last little spiel of the day, oh no, you're all good. Go. Last thing, just a call to action. Sunbend Solar. We are a startup company. We are in the process of expanding, and so with all the cameras who are in your networks, anybody you know, we're going to be doing a pretty aggressive search for just more people. I did this project with a lot of help, folks in the audience, but it was kind of like me for the most part, and that shouldn't be the case at all. I do not recommend like anyone taking on a task like this by yourself at all. And so we're going to be doing an aggressive hunt for more folks to join who are interested in this type of work. You will be compensated, of course. We're going to make sure all that works out, but we're looking for folks that are interested. And also more projects like this with the growth and expansion. Oh, snap, that's my homie. But with more growth and expansion comes more opportunity to do more projects. And so if you have ideas, if you have access, if you have land, if you have funding, and all of those great things, and you're looking to do more projects like this, please let us know. So with that being said, Eric?
Yeah, it's real quick shout out to the people who don't get named. The folks that will probably tomorrow help me pick up food tomorrow from this neighborhood who benefit from this fridge and come and meet me at all these Whole Foods, help me load up. Shout out to people who, I don't see them out here, who help me load when this fridge is operating, who pull up on this block, help me unload all this stuff, right? And ideally this fridge, we need to load this like twice a day because the fridge is for one family, right? So ideally, if someone's getting food they need, they will unload this fridge. Each family will load it 4 or 5 times a day, right? So the call to action, anyone who has capacity to help us fill this fridge, right? Because this looks all great right now, right? But then the work happens tomorrow. We need to keep it filled. Yeah. So reach out to Love Fridge, reach out to Getting Grown, reach out to Keyante, reach out to anyone, or just pop up on your own. This isn't anyone's project, right? I mean, look, it is their project. Be clear, it is there. They did a lot of work. But the idea of this isn't like no one's taking credit for it. Pop up and put food in it.
No, it's for everyone. This is a community, like this is just like I like to think of it as like having a fruit tree, right? Like you don't need all that fruit. Some of it would sport, right? So the idea, that's what the network is about. It's about moving resources around Chicago and make sure they don't go to waste. But it ain't about giving you food that ain't good. It's just about making sure it gets to where it needs to go. And so part of that is like tuning in so we can see how we can help each other. Because this isn't charity. We're not operating on telling you what you need. The only way that changes is to have interaction. Just communication. I'm not asking for sweat labor. Just even that can be beneficial. So we make sure we're doing what's beneficial to this particular spot. And that requires your interaction.
Also, closed mouths do not get fed. Don't ever be scared to reach out to anybody in case you would ever need a food, shelter, security. Always be, you know what I'm saying? Always be, that both person is going to reach out to connections because Englewood has a lot of connections, a lot of people out there that can help you. So don't ever be afraid or ever be scared to reach out to anybody at all. Like, the Love Bridge, UIG, the people that work with this community, we always here. So don't ever be, afraid or scared to reach out.
Appreciate that.
All right, I want to get off.
Oh yeah. That is.
I just want to hang out.
But that is ultimately the explanation of everything. I guess I'll just, for anybody that's interested in a little bit more of the technical side, like I said, I'm still working on just like cleaning everything up over there. But for all those that are interested in just seeing like some of the aspects in the technical side, y'all can follow me this way. So yeah, but thank you all for standing, for listening to everything.